Hello, sir. Pleasure to meet you.
Gafar, ¿cómo está?
Sorry? I'm
Salamat
doing
sore.
good.
Salamat sore or ¿cómo está?
Good morning. Good morning. How are you, sir? Pleasure to meet you.
Gafar, he was once in Lima.
Okay. Oh, that's very good.
A long time ago with our second ambassador.
Okay. Oh, that would have
Yes.
been quite some time back.
Yes, from 2006 until 2010.
Okay.
Was a long time ago, yeah.
So you should recall your Spanish then, Pagavar.
Yeah.
You have to recall your Spanish.
I speak fluently Spanish, ma'am.
Okay.
Gafar speaks Spanish with Spanish accent.
Wow.
Oh, that's very good.
Oh.
Thank you.
Dulu dengan Pak Dubes Ansor ya, Pak Gafar ya, waktu.
Saya
di Amerop ya.
Iya, saya Sesdijen Amerop, Bu.
Oh, iya.
Sama Pak Ansor. Ibu kenal ya? Sekarang di Chile.
Beliau. Sekarang di Chile ya.
Ya. Pak Gafar ya.
Ambassador, Doctor, we're ready. We can begin if you think it's okay.
All right.
Okay, yes.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Okay.
Okay.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Hello. Good morning, everyone. Today's host is me, Maria Osterlo. I am a member of the Center of Asian Studies. And today's lecture is about religion in pluralistic Indonesia, unifying and dividing factors by Dr. Siti Ruhaini. And before starting, I want to give the voice to Professor Carmen. And after that, we will have the lecture and then a round of questions.
Good morning, everybody. Dr. Srihani, thanks for being here. Ambassador of Indonesia, Ambassador of India, nice to have you here. Today we have a very interesting presentation. Before, let me just talk 2 minutes about my center. I am the coordinator of the Center of Asian Studies of San Marcos National University. We were created 2 years ago. We're going to be 2 years old just in 1 month. And the aim of our center is to study the Asian region, a very important region that every time is increasing its importance. For example, last year, 47% of all Peruvian export of goods were to Asia. China, India, Japan are among the biggest countries, but also Indonesia, trade with Indonesia is increasing. And also a lot of investment is coming from there. So there is a very big need to study that region. We have several members in our center. And one of our aim is also to do webinars like here, and that's why we're very busy to welcome Dr. Luque here. And that's all. I will also welcome the participants. We have already more than 20 here, but also we are transmitting online by the Facebook page of the Center of Asian Studies this conference. So it is recorded and it can be seen again at any time. That's all.
Thank you, Professor Aquino. So thank you very much, Dr. Siti Ruhaini, for your participation today. So I will present Dr. Siti. She is right now is a special staff to the office of President on Religion, Human Rights and Security. She's previously she has been a special staff to the President of the Republic of Indonesia on religious affairs between 2018 to 2019. She has been a chairperson on Human Rights Commission on the Organization of Islamic Cooperation, Jeddah, Saudi Arabia from 2011 to 2014. She has a doctorate degree on the Department of Sociology of the Faculty of Social and Political Science at the Jaya Mada University in Yogyakarta. She has a Master of Sociology at the Faculty of Humanities on Monash University in Melbourne, Australia. And she has an honor degree of Islamic Law, State Institute of Islamic Studies in Yogyakarta. I think before we start, please, Ambassador of Indonesia, I think you want to say some words before.
Good morning, everybody. So first, let me take this opportunity to extend my sincere appreciation and congratulations to the head of Center of Asian Studies, Professor Carlos Aquino, for organizing this virtual seminar, and to all participants today, Ambassador Subarajudu from India. I also would like to extend my deep gratitude to Dr. Siti Ruhaini Hayatin, Senior Advisor for the Executive Office of the President of the Republic of Indonesia, who, despite her busy agenda, kindly accepted our request to give a presentation on religion in pluralistic Indonesia, unifying and dividing factors, which is the topic of today's webinar. So, Professor Aquino, we noticed that the Center for Asia Studies of University of San Marcos is very active in conducting virtual seminar, and this is very much in accordance with the current situation. And Asia is one of the region which become the driving force of the global economy. An issue that occurred in Asia is always interesting and attracted our attention to observing, including issues which could affect its development. So we hope that today's webinar can enrich our understanding on political and social development in Indonesia. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Ambassador Estela Anwar. Do you want to say something more, Professor Aquino?
No, just Dr. Siti Ruhaini. Yes. Dr. Ruhaini, do you have a PowerPoint presentation? You sent me one.
Yes, please.
I want you to present.
Okay, so I will share. Yeah, I will share it.
Okay, I will allow you to present. Yeah, please go ahead.
Okay. First of all, I would like to express my heartfelt appreciations to our ambassador, Madam Estela Anwar Bey. She is now the ambassador of the Republic of Indonesia to Republic of Peru, and also Pak Paulus, who we have very intense communication in preparing this presentation. And also I would like to extend my my profound gratitude to Professor Carlos Aquino and also the Center for Asian Studies at the university, at the National University of San Marcos in Lima, Peru. So I was very happy and thrilled to accept the invitations from the ambassador to share the experience of the roles of religions in Indonesia. So sharing this with colleagues in the United States, Europe, Australia is of course rewarding, but sharing this with colleagues in Peru and South America is a blessing, because this is just the first time that I have the opportunity to have academic, I would say academic connection with South America. So this is really a good opportunity for me actually to interact and also to discuss at length about the selected topic. So I myself actually I'm a lecturer at the Islamic University in Yogyakarta, but currently I am selected as the special advisor to the executive office of the president. So after serving as the special staff to the president himself. So this morning, I would like to talk about the two sides of religions in Indonesia. One is the unifying factor, and the second is potential dividing factor as well. So we have both. One is unifying, and maybe this is the potential dividing factor that we have to taken care of. So the sequence of my presentation this morning's is one is the first. Oh, sorry. So I have to share the screen with you. Let me. So which one? Okay. So allow me to take some time to take this. Uh-oh. Oh, sorry. Just the file. Have you seen the PowerPoint?
Doctor, if you like, I can put your presentation PowerPoint. Yeah,
okay, okay.
Okay, I will do that. Okay, don't worry.
Okay,
don't worry,
okay, please, because yeah, suddenly.
Okay, I will do that.
Yeah. Okay.
Are you seeing it?
Yes, thank you very much. So
okay,
you just
I
scroll
will go
it
to the beginning. Okay.
All right.
Yeah,
okay.
You tell me to move, and I will do.
Okay. So please next, Professor. So so this is actually just give you the impressions of Indonesia. So we have this geographical informations. Yeah. So I will not explain in details, but the most important things is that Indonesia is I think almost twice as the Peru, but if you see the population is 266 million, so it's very crowded. And we have 6 official religions. Islam is 37%, Christianity is 7%, Catholicism is 3%, Hinduism and Buddhism altogether is 1.6%, Confucianism is 1.3%, and of course it's including also the local religions. And we have around 714 ethnic groups and local languages. So it's this very diverse, very plural and multicultural. Next, please. So my presentation is divided into 4 parts. One is the historical roots of religion in Indonesia. Second is religions in colonial era, and religious moderations in nation-state project. And then religion as unifying factor in the state formation, religion and internal, external dividing factors. And the last is coping the dividing challenges in macro and micro levels. So you just skip this, Professor, because this is actually just additional informations. Just go to the next. Yep. So this is actually the historical roots of religions in Indonesia, as the biggest archipelago in the world with 17,000 islands, and also with all the information that I have been illiterate. I have mentioned before. So the archipelago, otherwise known as Nusantara, literally means the Inter Islands. Yeah. And it was the spice road. So this is the spice road fostering inter islands and international trades, including with Indian kingdoms and the Chinese dynasty from several centuries. Trade has been fundamentally shaped Indonesian history. Yeah. The road was equally important to the Silk Road. If you can just go down. Next, Professor. Next, please. Yeah, so the spice road is equally important with the Silk Road in the north, where people exploring for the tropical spices. So that's trading line shaped this region as an open, urbanized, cosmopolitan, plural, and multicultural. Yeah. And the moderate and the pleasant weather aiding to the reason why people migrate and reside to that region, including traders, artists, religious teachers, which harmoniously mingle and interact with the local elites through economic cooperation and intermarriages. So in this manner, that world religions were embraced and absorbed by the local elites through the local elites, and subsequently also observed by the people. Yeah. So the widespread of this religion, mainly cultural and cordial encounters among the elites, and eventually followed by their people at large. So there is no evidence unfold that this religion brought by military expansion to this region. So these amicable encounters shape absorptive, syncretic, adaptive, and moderate religious life, which later become the nature and the modality of religious moderations, which prevent kind of religious conflicts and religious crusades to happen in this region. So these regions come, those religions, there is no adequate evidence unfolds that this religion brought by military expansions to this region. And it is later become also our modality in preventing extremisms in the region. Those religions come to this region and becoming something else. Hinduism and Buddhism become very vibrant and creative, as it is seen in Bali. So Professor Carlos is very familiar with Bali. Islam arrived in this region with totally different character from the Middle East, as well as Christianity and Catholicism cherished and celebrated with joy in the eastern parts of Indonesia and the Philippines. So, of course, conflict and warfare inevitably occurs in this region, but mostly incited by local kingdoms for territorial dominations and natural resources confiscations. And quite often they embrace similar religions. So next. So before I explain about the situations in the colonial era, so I will continue to brief you with how this what religion shape the moderate character of religion in this region. So although Islam has entered as early as 19th century, but it's become predominant in 11th century after after the dominations of Buddhists, of Hindus and Buddhists, and now we still have the kingdoms, the Islamic kingdom, but it's not very big in Yogyakarta. But still that Islam is having quite a different character, different characteristic with the original regions in the Middle East. And I will now turn to the religion in colonial era. Yeah. And the scenario was unlikely diverged when the European colonies were established around 14 centuries, which was the exclusive full-fledged of fortress and heavily guarded by the soldiers and isolated from the rest of the rest of populations. So this situation then creating tensions and conflict between the colonials, the European colonials, and the locals and the local elites. And also in this period, it marks the rise of ethno-religious sentiments, because the colonial abused religion to discriminate local people through judicial system. So in the past, we have three judicial systems for whites and Christians, Chinese and other Eastern people, and then indigenous people who were Islam or Muslim. And also then the Christian converted local people were given privilege over the rest in terms of education and job opportunities. So religion, particularly Islam, conversely was used by the indigenous people to resist and rebel against the colonials. So jihad was exemplified. Jihad is first time exemplified as the holy war as well as political struggle for independence to the colonials. As such, that the ethno-religious sentiment then become rooted in Indonesia and potentially resurfacing in the time of crisis afterwards. So this is actually the one scenario that we have, and we have to take care very carefully, because the leftover ethno-religious sentiment is still here with us, and this is quite possible to be resurfacing in the time of crisis. Next, Professor. So Indonesia is actually a nation state project, political project for the independent state. After the Dutch colonializations lasted 350 years, and as short as 3 years Japanese occupations. So the project mainly aims at consolidating the modern nationhood and claiming an independent state from the colonials and also from the local rulers. So this project is totally the new form of a country, of a nation state, which is distinctive from the previous local monarchies. Yeah. It was involving the struggle involving guerrillas and political activism across religious affiliations. So while struggling for the modern state, people were aware of the diversity, multicultural, religious plurality as the modality as well as the threat that should be negotiated. So therefore, the founding parents of the independence see that diversity has religious diversity, particularly has had to be respected and celebrated through the national maxim of diversity and unity, or Bhinneka Tunggal Ika, and religion is beyond part of nationalism. So religion is highly treated and is not really part of this national building process. So then the pact of nationalism is based on one country, one nations, and one lingua franca, Indonesia. So this is actually the very important things to understand, the important and also the fundamental roles of religion. It's really beyond the project of the nation state. Beyond, it's mean that this is actually embedded, already embedded in that process, and it was not claimed in such a way. Now, I would like to touch upon on how religions become the unifying factor of Indonesia. Next, please. It just skip this because this is just to show their their the diversity of their cultural outfits and cultural expressions. And I now turn to the religion as unifying factor in the state formulation. So religions become the unifying factor in Indonesia from the very beginning. As I mentioned earlier, religion is treated as the ultimate value of nationhood. Yeah, so this is embedded in that process. The fundamental roles of religions in shaping this nation is its moderate character. So afterward, this is religious moderation that giving birth to the modern Indonesia. So without religious moderation, so Indonesia will not exist. So as the major religion, Islam in here is less Arabized. So culturally and politically, so there is no such strong connections culturally and politically from the origins. So from the originals places of Islam in the Middle East, where this is really prevent us to have the Islamic sectarianisms, yeah, which trigger conflicts and wars. So this is also quite fortunate that we don't have such a kind of strong connections. The other aspect of the other aspect fostering the moderations was the adoptions, adoption of the modern system in religious educations, particularly Islam, which subsequently reduced the ethno-religious sentiments in order to fit to modernity. So in the time of the colonials, most of the education they adopt the colonials, the modern educational system. So that is helps also to foster moderate character of religion in Indonesia. Moreover, I would like also to give more emphasis on the existence of modern religious organizations, so namely Muhammadiyah and Nahdlatul Ulama, which these organizations have been managed based on merit system of leadership, which fundamentally contributes to the declines of charismatic leadership attached to the ethno-religious communality, which in many parts of Muslim world become the locus of religious politicization that thorns them apart due to the political interests of that elite. And yet, this organization played strategic agency in transforming exclusive altruistic sentiments within religious communalities into civic values of rational, inclusive, moderate, open, there is imperative in building common platform for modern and democratic society. Thus, religious moderation mediates between religion and modernity, including nation state and democracy. So moderate standpoint allows the major religious leaders, especially the Muslim, as the biggest populations, for not demanding Islam as the official religions, but rather supporting the first principle amongst others, supporting the first supporting the basic principles of the nation state, that is believing in God Almighty. Yeah. So this is not only Islam but covering all religions. Yeah. And this basic principle is harmoniously resembled together with humanity, the unity of Indonesia, democracy, and social justice. So the Muslim Indonesia would say that Pancasila, or the basic principle, the basic principle of the nationhoods, as the gift from the Muslim, because the Muslim was not claiming claiming Islam or claiming Indonesia as an Islamic state. And also the Muslims supported what is called religious friendly state, which is reflected in the existence of the Ministry of Religious Affairs, whose primary mandate is promoting as part of the Indonesian identity, protecting freedom. Okay. So protecting religious moderation is part of the Indonesian identity, protecting freedom of religion, and safeguarding for any attempt of religious defamation. So, and also this religious education is managed and accredited under the Minister of Religious Affairs, in ensuring its moderation and compatibility with the national maxim of unity in diversity. So this is actually also the advantage that we have, that we are able to manage the religious educations under the Ministry of Religious Affairs. Consequently, freedom of speech and freedom of expression is guaranteed, so long as not instigating religious defamations, racism, and cultural and ethnic offenses. So this is also being the commitment of the Indonesian people. However, as the country experienced dynamic political and economic progressed and regressed, religion often used for raising public agony of injustice and inequality. So in the time of crisis, for example, ethno-religious sentiment is raising. So please, Professor, can we just move to the next slides? So this one is actually just to give you the moderate outlook of Islam in Indonesia, and I'm using my family because there is no copyrights. This is myself with my daughter, and this is my daughter who serve also in the Minister of Foreign Affairs. One of my daughter I've covered, and one of my daughter is not. So this is just you just giving the impression for the colleagues in Peru that Islam in Indonesia is so different with the with the Middle East. So Indonesia has a very vibrant Islamic outlook. We just skip that, and we continue. This is actually the things that I've been mentioning, and so we might go to the next slide. Okay. And yes, I've been also discussing about these slides. Next. Sorry for this, problem. Okay, so we just stay in this slides. So as the country experienced dynamic political and economic progress and regress, religions often used for raising public agony of injustice and inequality. In the time of the crisis, ethno-religious sentiment is rising. In the western parts, for example, targeting Christian Chinese minority who dominate the economic sector, and often allied coalition with political leaders. Conversely, in the eastern part, Muslim minorities undergoing problems from the Christian majority. So that is quite often happens in Indonesia, and also I think this is not it's not only unique to Indonesia, but everywhere when the crisis rising, then ethno-religious sentiments become the anchor for people to cope with this kind of agony. So even worse, that political decentralizations, granted following the collapse of the military regime, prompts the ethno-religious sentiment for political interests of the local elites. So this is actually the internal problems that we used to encounter in Indonesia. Externally, unprecedented rise of global religious populations also strengthens the reserving of local ethno-religious sentiments. So can we just go moving to the next slide, please? Yes, next, please. Yep. Yes. So so there is also unprecedented rise of global religious populations that also strengthen the local religious sentiments in Indonesia. So then direct, unlimited, personalized internet and social media also reduce the state control over the people communications and connections. And it's become the strategic means of the hardliners to indoctrinate. This is means of indoctrinate fundamentalism, intolerance, post-truth sentiments, which eventually leads to religious polarization and religious tensions. So the biggest challenge is that we also face the infiltrations of transnational religious-based hardliners, radicalisms and extremism also use this technology to recruit misguided people, in some cases setting terrorist attacks in favor of reviving what they perceive as Islamic State, such as Al-Qaeda, ISIS, and the likes. So we still trying to handle this this issue until recently, that Indonesia has to be ready with the post-ISIS collapse in Syria. So this is a long strong alert for Indonesia as well. So this regressive turn, the dividing factor of ethno-religious sentiment in Indonesia, that call for the political elites, religious leaders, civil society activists to hold hands together to overcome the challenges through strengthening the existing modality that historically inherited from the past. The first is actually collaborative efforts on reaffirming religious moderation is a must. State and mainstream religious organizations, civil society, media has to work together against extremism and radicalism. The second, religious curriculum should firmly controlled by the Minister of Religious Affairs. Amid the strong effort of new revivalist groups demanding for religious freedom to control their own curriculum in the light of democracy. But still, the governments firmly affirms that the religious curriculum is still controlled and managed by the Minister of Religious Affairs. The third, strengthening law enforcement, particularly on electronic and digital communication, to curb offensive expressions, extremism, and also radicalism. And also establish contra-terrorist systems in the states and communal level as the early warning and alert systems. Last and but more obvious is making the states accountable to the people by combating corruption, providing better health facilities, creating more job opportunities to serve the marginalized groups who are the main target of these hardliners. So, and also equally important is strengthening mainstream religious organization as the main safeguards in promoting religious moderation through its local branches to the community level. Yeah. So this is also our treasure in Indonesia, that we have modern Islamic organizations that do not exist in most of the Muslim community. I served 6 years in the OIC, Organization of Islamic Cooperations, and I observed that there are only few religious or Islamic organizations, and we have plenty in Indonesia, and is, as I mentioned earlier, become the safeguards of moderations in Indonesia. And also they also played very significant roles in transforming the religious sentiments in the religious communalities into the civic values that it is required for the building of a nation state. So what we really need is the common grounds of civic values, agreed by all of religions to become regulations and laws in the public lives. So this is actually the blessing that we have for having a modern religious organizations. And the last is what the so-called the communal lives in Indonesia. We still have, even though we are highly urbanized, but in some stages we still have communal solidarity throughout the country. That's and it is well maintained in our neighborhoods, such as communal charity, health caring, cultural event, local security system. And this is actually a very significant and very important and very effective mechanism in setting early warning and alerts for the hardliners, radicalism, as well as terrorism, which is potentially dividing the nation apart. So now the government is trying its very hard to reach to the community, to the neighborhoods, in order to foster the religious moderations that we historically inherited as our modality to be the safeguards of our country, the safeguard of our nation states. So this is, I think, this is all from us, and I will give the times back to Professor Carlos Aquino. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Dr. Siri Ruhaini, for the
Thank you very much, Sister Maria.
Terima kasih. Yes. Now, before the round of questions or comments, I would like to greet some of our participants today. We thank the participation of Ambassador of India in Peru, Mr. Mandapuru Subarayudu, then to current Ambassador of Peru in Indonesia, Julio Cárdenas, then Ambassador Luz Milla Sanabria, and former Ambassador of Peru in Indonesia, Juan Álvarez Vita. And so if someone here in the Zoom room have any questions or comments that would like to do, you can do it right now. Maybe in the chat room. Ambassador Juan Álvarez Vita says, I would like to congratulate Dr. Ruhaini for your excellent statement. And he says, sorry, my microphone is not working. So anyone, any question? Professor Aquino, maybe some comments or?
No, just something. Yeah, I have visited Indonesia several times, and yeah, I was also always surprised by how a big country in territorial size and also in population, more than 216 million people, and with several religions, really, for example, Muslim, of course, the majority of them, but also Christian, another one, they live so peaceful among them, really. So yeah, as Dr. said, probably one of the reasons for that is the tolerance of the people, really. But sometimes we see in the newspaper that, of course, in another parts of the world, some Islamic fundamentalists have been doing very bad things, but in Indonesia, that is not so the case. I would like to ask the Dr. Siti, what would you think is the most important reason for Indonesian being able to live peaceful among different religions? So it's very, very interesting, especially in times where intolerance in other parts of the world is the norm. But how, what is the secret of Indonesia, if you can define in just a few words?
Thank you very much for the questions, Professor Carlos. Of course, as I mentioned earlier, that this region, I mean, Indonesia and some part of Southeast Asia, has been moderates historically. So that is that is actually the modality for most of the Indonesian people to live with. So all the world religion, when it's come to Indonesia, then this is absorptive and then adapts to the to the local culture. So we would say that our treasure is actually the moderations and tolerance. Yeah, that is part of our culture. Even though we have more than 700 ethnic groups and cultural groups, but generally all the culture are moderates, and they are open to accept the new elements and negotiated that and to become part of our lives. So this is actually from the cultural aspects. The second is that from the very beginnings, in the what I call the project of the project of nation state. So religion is unquestioned, because we said that religion is there embedded in our lives, and there is no negotiation anymore about religions. And the Muslim, as the majority, also aware that it is not appropriate. It is not how to say it is not beneficial, yeah, to demand for demand Indonesia is an Islamic state. So there is no such an intention from the majority of the Muslim to seize this country as an Islamic state. So this is also being the modality of this nation. Of course, we have a small groups of people, small group of Muslim who are demanding to have more privilege because we are the majority. But I think it is not expressing. It is not expressing the point of view of the Muslim at large. So this is the two things that we actually very proud of, that moderation is really in the heart of the people. And the third is that the government is trying to balance and trying to protect this and also to promote the moderation as part of the policies, and the regulations in order to protect and also to mediate the conflicts, to mediate the conflict between religious groups that's usually triggered by aspects outside the religion. For example, political interest, economic inequality, so adding to the social tensions, and religions often used as the anchor for the people to raise their agony. But we always say that this is not religious conflict, but usually this is economics, this is political, and having such kind of awareness, then we set the mechanism be by the governments and also by the people in order to control and to manage the conflict, not to be a severe conflict that will turn the society apart. So back to you,
thanks, Dr.
Professor
Siti.
Carlos.
Yes, right. Yeah, that's same for yes, and also I guess something important that I guess you also mentioned it. It is the fact that the major religion, Muslim, was not imposed by force, no, but was brought by trade and trade.
Yes.
I think when you see other regions in the world that have this religion conflict, is that big. Sometimes one of the religion was imposed by force, but in the case of Indonesia, yeah, it was not the case. Okay, thank you. Thank you. Very interesting.
Yes. So yes, actually, our religion is actually come to Indonesia in much more cultural and more cultural way. So people are coming. I mean, Hindus are coming, Buddhists are coming, Christians are coming, and then they mingles with the people. And usually the elites, they will have kind of economic activities in the religious marriages, and eventually then it is accepted, culturally accepted, and of course the political elites is actually from the local elites. It's not those who coming from India, or those who are coming from Middle East, those who are coming from Turkey, as the biggest Islamic imperiums in that time. So it's totally cultural, and I would say this is naturally embraced by the people.
Yeah. Yes. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Ruhaini. So now I give the voice to Ambassador of Indonesia, Mrs. Marina Estelan Warbey, to give maybe some final words.
Okay.
If there's another question.
Oh,
There is one question first.
One question.
questions.
I will ask them.
There is one.
Please go
Sorry.
ahead.
Yes,
Maria,
Ambassador.
there is one question.
There's one question? Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, Bu.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, thank you so much, Ibu Ruhaini, for the presentation. It really give me also a new knowledge, even though I'm from Indonesia. I have one question, because I was saying to ambassadors that Indonesia have many provinces. Like for me, myself, I'm coming from Kalimantan Island, Bu, which is like very different area, which like back in my hometown, I know that the majority of us are not Muslim, because the majority are Christian and Catholics. So my question will be, how do you think, like different, like geographically, because we have many islands, we have many different areas, how do you think Indonesia can overcome, or like the government in general can overcome the differences, which is the majority or minority in the areas in the other states, other than Jakarta, because we have because the religions really affected the way people in the politics as well. For example, like back in Kalimantan, they always like some sentiments, like because we are the majority, because we are the minority. But until now, we know very well that there is no conflict, nothing. So what do you think about what government do, and then how the government or how Indonesia could overcome by geographically overcome the differences in the majority and minority of the religion in certain states in Indonesia? Thank you.
Very much. I couldn't remember the name, so but
Elisa.
I'm by Elisa. Okay, so I think this is very important questions on how, but especially the governments to overcome the issue the issue of course differences, and also the tensions that might also occur in many parts of Indonesia. So I remember as um, uh, uh, as the person myself working in the executive office of the president. So President Jokowi always emphasizing on the connection of the connections between provinces, because we are islands. Yeah. So the President Djokovic's efforts in building the roads. I mean, it's like the tolls, and also the deep sea shores, and also all the airport is actually how to strengthen the connections. The physical is not only the physical connections, but also their cultural and understandings from other people. So this is makes it easier to people to connect to each other. So the infrastructure construction is not merely the physical connection, but it's supposed to be cultural connection as well. This is the first. And the second, the governments, the president himself is trying to make the governments accountable to the people. Yeah. Combating corruption, and also bridging the economic gaps, as well as creating more jobs. Because the tensions is not is not necessarily this is the religious tensions, because we've been living together in harmony for ages, but it's usually instigated by um, economic issue, political issues, because in the decentralization, in the political decentralization, the local elites tends to use religions as the means of electoral achievement. So this is actually the two things that the central government is trying to overcome the economic problems, and as well as to regulate the political decentralization for not politicizing religions. And the third is that the issue of intolerance has to be also overcome by all components of the nations. So intolerance is not only in the area of religion, but it can be in other areas. There is political intolerance when politicians they work in discriminating people based on religions and based on ethnicity, based on culture, then he or she actually being politically intolerant. And intolerance can also occur in the business. When big businessmen, they don't have any awareness of the change of this businesses, and that's not a way to their smaller business enterprises, or also people around that business establishments. So it can be also economic intolerance, and there is also social intolerance. So the social intolerance, and where we are not aware, and we are not willing to accept others to be in our neighborhoods. So that is we have to work together in order to overcome the sentiments, also the intolerance that's pervading in all aspects of our society. So we have to work together, the government, the civil society, the individuals. So and we have to have the same awareness and the responsibility that it is our responsibility to maintain the lives, the joyful lives that the harmonious life that we have now. And of course we would like our children in the future will also enjoy the harmonious, enjoy the peaceful life that we have. This is actually being the missions of the president, and maintaining the harmonious and the peaceful Indonesia. Thank you, Mbak Lisa.
Yeah, thank you, Bu.
Thank you.
Ambassador.
Okay.
You want to give some words, Ambassador?
Yes.
Okay. So, Dr. Siti Ruhaini, thank you, Ibu. Thank you very much once again for your very comprehensive presentation. I think I noticed that Indonesia is well known as a country with diverse ethnicities, religions, and races. And almost 87% its population are Muslim, which make Indonesia as the world's most populous Muslim country. However, Indonesia yet remains constitutionally secular, it is not Islamic state, and recognize 6 official religions, namely Islam, Christianity, Catholicism, Hinduism, Buddhism, and Confucianism. And I believe that its national language, its nationhood, it was said, Pancasila, 5 principles, which one principle is believe in God, so all people should believe in God. And its national motto, Bhinneka Tunggal Ika, or unity in diversity, articulates the diversity shape the country, which make Indonesia as a country where different faiths are able to exist harmoniously. But however, Ibu, in order to establish harmony among its people, its Indonesian people, I think the government should prioritize and encourage religion pluralism and tolerance continuously. The government should work with many institutions, civil society, media, provinces, and political elite to protect the country from radicalism or Islam fundamentalism. So I think this is my final words, and I hope that the government of President of Jokowi could create this tolerance and pluralism among the people. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ambassador.
Thank you very much, Ambassador.
Thank you, Ambassador. Okay, before finishing, I would like to announce our next lecture today at 5:30 in the afternoon, that it will be about India in the Indo-Pacific balance of power by Professor Rahamohan, Director of the Institute of South Asian Studies at the National University of Singapore. And the other one on the heart of the Indo-Pacific, why middle powers matter in US-China geopolitical competition, by Professor Rory Metcalf. He is the head of the National Security College at the Australian National University. Today at 5:30 in the afternoon. Okay, so I would like to say some words in Indonesian, Bahasa Indonesia, because I'm a student I'm studying that language. So on behalf of the Center of Asian Studies, Dr. Siti Ruhaini, terima kasih atas partisipasi Anda hari ini. Kuliahnya sangat menarik. Semoga kami dapat mengandalkan partisipasi Anda di masa depan. Terima kasih.
Muchas gracias. This is the only word.
Thank
Thank
you.
Very much.
Thanks, Dr. Siti Ruhaini. Thanks so much. Thanks, Ambassador.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Professor.
We will have you again. Thanks, Ambassador.
Thank you very much, ambassadors. Thank you very much, colleagues in Peru and also in Indonesia. Thank you
I
very much.
think
Thank you.
we have to make a photo session
Yeah,
before.
yeah.
Okay.
Yes, yes. Please. Okay, bye. Take a picture.
And the pictures I will send to you. Okay,
Yeah.
Okay.
take your hand. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Ambassador. Take care.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Bye, bye.
Have a good day.
Take care, everybody. Hope you will meet at 5:30 p.m.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye, bye.
Bye. Ibu, terima kasih sekali lagi.